What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to our Bible study. So, we've got Exodus 31 lined up here. Maybe still kind of talking about tabernacle stuff. It seems like it might just be going into like some of the people involved with its construction and whatnot. I don't know. Anyway. But, yeah, so not really too much else to say, especially if you've been keeping up with my streams and videos and whatnot. So, let's just hop right into this. Exodus 31. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Look, I have specifically chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, grandson of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with the Spirit of God, giving him great wisdom, ability, and expertise in all kinds of crafts. He is a master craftsman, expert in working with gold, silver, and bronze. He is skilled in engraving and mounting gemstones and in carving wood. He is a master at every craft." Pretty high praise from God there. I assume there's going to be more to that than just God saying, "Hey, this dude's awesome." I imagine there's going to be some responsibility given out as well with regards to the tabernacle, but let's see what it says in that regard, because I don't want to speculate too much. So, verse 6. "And I have personally appointed Aholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, to be his assistant. Moreover, I have given special skill to all the gifted craftsmen so they can make all the things I have commanded you to make: the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark's cover, the place of atonement, all the furnishings of the tabernacle, the table and its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with all its accessories, the incense altar, the altar of burnt offering with all its utensils, the wash basin with its stand, the beautifully stitched garments, the sacred garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments for his sons to wear as they minister as priests, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense for the holy place. The craftsman must make everything as I have commanded you." See, yeah, there's the responsibility coming in. So, I guess Bezalel was to be the one to like kind of oversee and lead the making of all of these things, with Aholiab to be his primary assistant in all of this. And then, other craftsmen were, kind of going to be led by them in the making of all these different things, which are all related to the tabernacle, its use, what would happen in and around it, and all that kind of stuff. Basically the things that we've been covering over the past, I don't know, like 7 or so chapters. God's like, "Hey, these people are good at these things. You should have them, oversee this project and actually carry it out." So, tabernacle probably just says tent of meeting in the original Hebrew, and Ark of the Covenant would have read Ark of the Testimony, in case you were wondering what those footnotes were for. So, then we get to verse 12, which seems like it may or may not be directly related. But anyway, whatever. Verse 12. "The Lord then gave these instructions to Moses. Tell the people of Israel, be careful to keep my Sabbath day, for the Sabbath is a sign of the covenant between me and you from generation to generation. It is given so you may know that I am the Lord who makes you holy. You must keep the Sabbath day, for it is a holy day for you. Anyone who desecrates it must be put to death. Anyone who works on that day will be cut off from the community. makes me wonder, because like being cut off from the community isn't the same as being put to death, makes me wonder what the difference is between, what desecrates the Sabbath versus just working on it. But I don't know. Anyway, maybe that'll be spelled out for us in future chapters. My gut reaction would be to say, desecrating it would essentially be to, specifically go against God's commands, do something that is, do something bad / evil / sinful on the Sabbath day. Verse 15. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day must be a Sabbath day of complete rest, a holy day dedicated to the Lord. Anyone who works on the Sabbath must be put to death. Okay, so now it's saying both. Whatever. The people of Israel must keep the Sabbath day by observing it from generation to generation. This is a covenant obligation for all time. It is a permanent sign of my covenant with the people of Israel. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, but on the seventh day he stopped working and was refreshed. When the Lord finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant, written by the finger of God. Footnote there probably just says testimony instead of covenant, yeah. So, not really directly related to tabernacle stuff, but maybe indirectly, because, if they were supposed to be resting on the Sabbath, that means they wouldn't have really been seeking the priests so much for, offerings and other things that the priests would have had to do in the tabernacle. So, but anyway, verse 15 says more specifically that anyone who works on the Sabbath must be put to death, even though it said they would be cut off from the community in verse 14. I mean, obviously death is being cut off from the community, but the fact that it seemed like it was making a distinction, but then kind of like almost went back, for lack of a better way of putting it, and said that no, it's the same thing generally speaking. I don't know. I just find that a bit odd. Maybe it's a translation thing that makes it so that the wording, in our English translations ends up being kind of weird like that. But I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, obviously Sabbath day, very important thing. Basically remembering God's resting after the 6 days of creation, and there was other stuff laid out in a previous chapter regarding the Sabbath, but yeah, so there were multiple reasons why it was important for God's people. Not really too much else to say, because it's a pretty short chapter. So, yeah, it does say down here in verse 18, when the Lord finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai, that he gave the 2 stone tablets. So I guess this is kind of the end of part 2 of God, dictating commands to Moses for the people to follow. And it kind of makes me wonder if, the stuff that we've had, these chapters that we've read up to this point with what, God has told Moses on Mount Sinai. I'm trying to think, what specifically the terms of the covenant would have been. I mean, you got to imagine it was like the 10 Commandments. Maybe that was all the stuff that God kind of told him on day one of the instruction, so to speak, that Moses had then kind of himself written down, but he didn't have, I don't think, any sort of, tablets or anything like that that would have been writing directly from God, essentially, with, those commands with the terms of that covenant. So, anyway, maybe we're done with, instructions from God for a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see as we get into other chapters. But that does it for this one, at least. Okay, so that does it for this chapter. Really a short one. Pretty much just talking about, the people who are going to be in charge of building the tabernacle and all the different parts of it that they're supposed to build. And then I guess a little bit about, keeping the Sabbath, making sure that they actually take that day of rest, because God took that day of rest. And anyway, so yeah, just a little bit of each of those things, and that was really it. So anyway, I guess that does it for now. As always, like and share if you enjoyed the video and want others to see. Subscribe and click the bell to get updates when I post new videos. You can look down in the description to get info on my other social media pages and all that kind of stuff. As of the moment, at least as I'm recording this, my live streams are kind of split between Twitch and YouTube. So, obviously you've made it to my YouTube channel, but Twitch info is down there in the description as well. Those streams are now, they're still on Thursdays. It's just the first part is going to be Bible study over on Twitch, and then the gaming is going to be over this way on YouTube after I finish up the Bible study stuff, whenever that happens to be. So anyway, also leave comments down below with any thoughts that you have, whether it's related to, Bible stuff, other video ideas, any thoughts regarding the live streams, and maybe how you think maybe I should split them up, if it should be like a little bit of both types of content on both platforms, or if you think maybe I should switch which stuff I'm doing where. Whatever you have for me, let me know down below. So that's it. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you for the next chapter in our Bible study. But until then, stay cool, people.